much longer are you out there for?
A week.
Another week?
Yeah.
I sent them an email the first day you left telling them that I wanted to join in a conversation, but they never responded.
So how's the child's lip today?
Oh, I went over at 2 in the morning because she thought she was taking him to the hospital, but apparently it's just the blood clot.
What?
She was going to take him to the hospital, but apparently the blood clot just had fallen off, and she was able to stop it again. And today he hasn't hit it at all, and it hasn't. I mean, he's actually bleeding a little bit from his tooth coming in almost the same like 4 millimeters away. But at least it wasn't from. I mean, it's the third time he's been cut in that same spot. Like, I think he does it with that little tag in the middle of your lip. I think like helps to hold shit together. Like, there's nothing you can really do about it, but I don't think he's ever gonna have. If he gets punched in the face, he's probably gonna cut his lip. So I was gonna buy a bike today. I didn't buy a bike. I don't even know. I'm like, where am I gonna put it? Like,
Probably a good point if you don't have a place to put it. It's hard to get one.
I mean, I can drive it through the door of Ashkurst and then hang it on the van and take it over to Tia's, and it's another thing. I really hate that camera I bought. I'm probably gonna take it back, but I mean, the big camera's working now, and there's no way I'm sending it back while it's working. I can't really go like. I don't know, yesterday sucked. It broke the day before, whatever. Wait, when did I say it broke? The day before yesterday, right? Or yesterday?
Yeah, I think that's right. Where are you now?
I'm driving from our house. I slept over there because I got there. I mean, I was just there all day, and I'm kind of going crazy. I don't really have a clue what to do. I mean, whatever I do, I think will be an honest and honorable attempt to make the best of Mom, but I don't see anything. Like, there's nothing I know of that money can actually do. Like, my hard drives are on a plastic shelf. I mean, if I have a nightmare and I kick them at night or something, it's like I lose almost everything. I mean, part of me says just get a shitload of very advanced hard drives, make multiple copies, and say, hey, whatever happens, 20 years is protected in 4 different locations, and I ate half a donut today. I just obviously can't keep dragging along, trying to buy as much time as possible. The only reason I have a cent left is because I've learned to be scared shitless of existing without money. But it's just a stupid thing to do. Like, it'd be much better off on day one if every cent of that money had gone into somewhat durable equipment, and I never got used to spending any extra cash. I just had money to work, so I didn't have the time and any really necessity. I could have just worked, probably made money too, but instead I get in this habit like, oh, save, only spend when you're really, really fucking stressed out and want to drive into a pole. But then I get to a certain point and I'm like, what if I don't have like the tiniest bit of fun, or like I don't relax once with everything that she left me, and I don't get anything that I can make money with. That would, like, then it would just be like, it's exactly what you asked not to happen would happen. Nothing good. I'm just older. So I don't know exactly why I called. Oh, there was a specific question. Can you figure out whatever I owe you on credit cards and take it out of the bank? So I stopped like thinking that I have money that I don't.
I really can't do that while I'm out here, so.
Yeah, but wish you would have done it like before. Or...
Well, I'm sure it's not that big of a number.
Yeah, it's probably a couple $1,000.
Well, I guess the easiest thing to do would be for you to make a list of what you think it might be.
Months ago, I think I completely gave up on keeping track of anything except nothing. Like, it just doesn't matter. When it's gone, it's gone. I can't afford like stability or tangibility, so what does it matter? It's just, I spend as little as I can until I get to the point when I realize that it's going to buy absolutely nothing if I don't buy something with it immediately. It's the most ridiculous possible scenario, and probably the most interesting possible scenario for explaining to other people. I mean, you can get that right now. It could be terrible for me and yet great for explaining to other people, and they're like, yeah, well, I guess it's not that easy to understand why you spent 20 years trying to make a difference in the world, and now the possibility exists that, you know, like, the person you really made the promise for is gone, and all this work that you did to help other people can really just go in your own pocket. And then if anyone says publicly, where I can hear it, that was my plan all along, was to be poor for 20 years, to have a couple nice cars for short stretches of time, then I will do everything in my power to well, you know what, if that's what they think I am, that's what I'll be for them. Like, that's what I've always wanted. I always wanted to be a spiritual mirror. I wanted people to look at me and see themselves. So if you saw an asshole, you were an asshole. If you were a great person and you met me, you'd think I was a great person. That's all I really ever wanted in terms of other people's perception of me, and I think I've gotten pretty accurate. But I mean, how could anyone even argue now? 20 years, never made a cent, never been handed 1 cent for work, about as poor as you can be, coming from very, very high-end first world, spoiled as shit. 20 years of never making any effort to sell out. So if I sell out quickly, buy a couple suits, and just like deal with rejection until I find the right guy with money who says, fuck it, you're brilliant, like, let's try it. Nobody could really say anything, right? I mean, I've put in my time. I mean, I don't know if anyone was putting as much time as I did with the ability to probably sell out within 7 months at any point, and just didn't do it. But like I said, I mean, obviously there's no way that if I like have a credit card or something, like if I'm out on my own, like I don't know. Maybe I'll take you all out to dinner somewhere, and I'll be like, you know what, you want to go to dinner with me? You know, I had to go to a couple birthdays at country clubs and cry. You guys can come to the nicest restaurant in the world up in the sky, and I'll show you what it's like when you actually have money, and when you actually realize that money doesn't matter, and that $500 doesn't matter, that $1,000 doesn't matter. I mean, to a poor person, sure. Your last $1,000 matters. Anyone that's strong and raised well should be able to take $1,000 cash in this world and use their brain, start a small business, and grow their way into riches. But when it's your 1,000th, it means nothing. Your 950,000, your $500,000. Like, it's just $500,000 is 50 million pennies. So like, you're actually 50 million pennies away from the lady in the story that mom and priests and other people taught me about. Like, that the true honorable precept was to you are more valuable if you spent your last cent than if you gave 10% of any larger sum. Like, you remember that story, right? You know it's there, it's taught to children, but it's you know, it's not a real thing. Nobody ever suggests that you should actually really work for God and be poor and have faith that by doing the absolute right thing with others that you will always eat, and that you will always be housed, and that you will live in this kingdom of God even before the time for heaven exists. Like, I just wish that they had honestly, I wish they had a perfect lie detector. Like, one that could even detect, like, even if you were unconscious about it, like you didn't even really know, like, still it would say that is not true, like I'd say, do you believe these stories? Like, do you believe that if you don't fully accept Jesus Christ as your Savior, you will not get into heaven? And I mean fully. Because I don't think Mom fully accepted him. Maybe she was at like 97%, and I would maybe give you like 46, but like, and Kirk says, you know, he goes to church because he wants to be able to do the baptisms and things, like be in good graces of the church, and he says it with a totally straight face. And you all have to know on some level that it can't, with what it says, it can't ever work that way. It can't ever be something where you play your cards in a safe way to cover your bases without actually like serving, being like a child of the Creator and serving His children. Like, you would be mad if anyone say, hey Ron, I don't think that with what you're doing you can actually get into heaven if heaven exists according to the story that was the most powerful book to ever touch my life by 100 times. And there have been some powerful books since I've grown up which touched my life, and many of them later on in life reinforced my own developing belief that it couldn't possibly be true. Like, it's not even a good story. It's just an addictive, scary, powerful story because people don't have a fucking clue what's going on. Like, Obama doesn't have a clue what's going on with God. Bush didn't have a clue what's going on. They have to say it. Like, you have to go out and lie your face off. But I mean, do you ever think about that? Like, that you cannot run for president of this country without saying categorically that you believe in Jesus Christ and that you will never get into heaven without Jesus Christ. Like, you can't even run. You'd be crushed. I mean, unless you had billions of dollars and could put, like, maybe that's what I'll do. Because they're only going to spend, what, $1.5 billion each on this election? The world is almost totally open for business. Like, there's globalism the way you've never seen. One good idea that's not, like, specifically cultural, successful in one place, can very easily get to 4. 4 can get to 20, and 20 can get you to, like, 1,000 locations. And, like, once you prove one model that works and are conscientious about its operations and can buy yourself new creativity of a type that's loosely similar to mine, there's no limit. Like, people think, oh, you know, Bill Gates is 70 billion at one point. Like, that's a really big chunk of money. The only thing that would stop that, of course, is if there are other people like me out in the world and they don't break, and they're able to create things so that I would, you know, snap, build a capitalist business, try to just show the world how fucking ridiculous it is. Like, look at the things that I'm doing. Like, I didn't earn this money. You're just a bunch of suckers who wanted, or who I made want this stuff, and you spent your hard-earned dollars on it, and it sits in your garage all the time. Like, that'd be my dream. Form a company, operate for 10 years, sell my balls off in every way, and then tell the truth the day after the end of the 10th year. And just be like, I think you're all stupid slaves. Like, I'm rich as shit. I didn't want to do this. I didn't have the capital necessary to, like, nobody in this world would even give me the capital, like, necessary to build a philanthropic invention, research, and development workshop on even the most minute scale. And I just couldn't make it. But I hate what you've done. I think, and now I'm going to have fun with you. I'm not going to hurt you. But I'm going to try to remind you through almost sarcasm and being opposite what I couldn't convince you of while I was poor. Because the only argument people really have against me at all is that I've never done anything ordinarily, like that I have not concretely demonstrated my capitalist skills yet. Like, I haven't shown that I can do what everybody else does. But I never, even now, have to do what everybody else does. Even I will not spend a cent of Mom's money making money, and I will be fucking miserable. Like, and I still survive. Like, even without an extra cent to do anything, I still survive. And with Mom's help, I have some equipment left over. What the hell are they wearing? I have equipment left over from attempting something philanthropic, and I don't actually believe that it's necessary that if I buy computer equipment and then I run out of money, that I say, oh, I have to sell all that computer equipment. It might be like, I have no more cash. Like, there's nothing left for Mom to do anything with. So now I'm going to switch over and keep all of those things. And I don't really think that would be cheating, because I'm not buying them expressly to run out of money and to be broke, but with a really nice set of equipment for communicating insanely. I mean, you talk about the internet now, I should use the internet. I would, of course. It's a lot easier and it would be more comfortable to do so if I weren't trying to do, like, the right thing, if I weren't me. Like, maybe 99 out of people get rejected by venture capitalists, but like 99.9999% of me just get fucking rejected by everyone. I wish we could be talking about, and I mean, it's actually an idea. It is an idea. Like, what do you do in a situation that's almost the opposite of what would actually be good for you as a human being, while you've known it the whole time and done your best to try to express that vision, but, you know, having been considered like so biased that you were never taken seriously. I mean, I don't have to. Sometimes I don't cry. Sometimes I just think about things, and it's not saddening because it's shocking, and I hear myself saying these things and I believe them completely, and at the same time there's a third part which realizes these words, like, are obviously not truly reaching the person that you're speaking to. Like, that maybe is why I started recording in the first place, to say, like, I'm talking to no one. Like, I'm trying from my heart and soul to convince my mother for the 430th time that I'm a legitimate human being, that I tell the truth, and that there's no reason why I should agree with her most of the time when she tried to make someone better than herself. And I forgot what was after that, because then I think that you're thinking that I'm bringing up Mom because it's some manipulative tactic, because I can't just talk about my mother. And I can't just talk about my mother because the only thing I really have to work with in my life is her. I actually wonder, like, Jerry sent me a copy of a will. I would love to see the similarities between the thing he sent me and you know, the document that has changed my life for 3 years in hundreds and hundreds of trivial ways. But hey, you know, when I don't work, I get very unhealthy, and obviously I have the capacity to spend $1,000 a month on all but nothing except myself. I mean, would you hope or would you not hope? I guess maybe I'll get one question a day. Would you hope that, like, my work is saved and that, like, something happens to me, or, like, my work, it continues to exist and people find it and they go through it and they take out the good stuff and it helps a lot of people, but at some point, like, I'm literally gone, and you have to see that these people hear, like, the 1/9 of my work, or the 1/22 of my work that involves me talking to you. Because obviously, if you were wrong, would you want people to know that you were wrong right now if you were wrong? Like, if I was a famous person who saved lives, and, like, it was demonstrable that what I've done can succeed in and of itself, and still, like, I'm not gonna go out and, like, I'd rather be dead and succeed than succeed the way I would have to, like, by myself. But it's not going to happen. I have kids. I can't be dead. Like, I'm sure subconsciously you decided that I can't kill myself now. And I said subconsciously, even if it was conscious, I don't think you'd admit it, like, that I can't kill myself. So now's the perfect time to change one single policy in your administration of my financial existence and say, well, you know what, if he gets down on the bottom, like we did say, at some point in his life, we just have to say no and see what happens. But then I'll think, you're not just saying no and seeing what happens. You did something, like, 7 times or 20 times and develop an absolute pattern that can't be eradicated just because someone's conscious of it. And then after all of that obvious weakening, like, then you decided to, you know, obviously if you look at that, you think, I should have said no the first time, not the last. Because it would have been a lot cooler if I'm going to fail, like, if my kids are going to have a missing father. It would almost been a lot cooler if I just actually didn't live the last 20 years. I haven't helped anybody, taken a lot of your cash, you know, and spent it on my own survival, haven't fed anyone, brought kids into the world that are actually consuming money from this kind of scummy government. Unfortunately, I can't actually sit down and just do my best to talk to people who believe in me and like, it's too hard to do, especially about you. Like, if I'm not, Tia always thinks that I'm talking to the camera, but I'm not talking at the camera. I don't look at the camera. I am relieved by the fact that it's there, and that if I'm actually a hyper sane, brilliant person in a horrible situation, that I can prove something to people. Like, what? Just look at it. It's just that fucking obvious. It's that obvious and that clear, and there's almost no contradiction in the presentation being made, but it doesn't matter. People are people. They like me. You think this about me. They believe they're right? They believe they don't really have to change. They believe they're doing the right thing almost all the time. Like, why wouldn't I do that? Like, I think that I can actually save people's lives and make an effective battler in the fight for freedom. So I think I have a really good reason to be exactly as stubborn as you. You can, you know, be as stubborn as me, but what is your reason for being so stubborn? Like, why would you be as stubborn as me? Other than if your father was more stubborn than you. I don't... Like, are you you're happy? Are you happy? To say it with less unfriendly. Are you happy?
Is that just a completely general question, or with some?
No. Are you happy?
Yeah.
So there's nothing major in your life that's like depressing as hell. There's nothing missing. Like, you do enough on a daily basis. You interact with like good people. You think like the family has not lowered its quality at all since what happened. Like, do you think... Okay, let me say this, not in a general way. Like, obviously I think that to be happy you have to have an open mind. Like, you cannot just close it down and ignore everything that's uncomfortable. Do you think you have an open mind?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, we say yes. Like, I've been trying very hard for the first years of my children's lives to get them, when they say yes, to say yes, like, not to say yeah, like. And so you know, I think you don't have, like, that you have like a huge number of defense mechanisms, right? And you believe things because you decided to believe them or someone taught them to you. But if someone actually pushes into them, maybe someone smarter than me pushes into them, you find out that there's the argument for them, the reason for believing that thing tends to like vaporize pretty quickly. Like, you know, I believe that I believe that you're not open-minded, that you like actually will not look with an open mind at any of my ideas or anything that I've done. Like, it's all tainted by what I've done to you that's negative. Like, because I insult you. Like, oh, I have to live a suicidal life as a wonderful person, but all I do is insult you. Like, right? I hurt you, so therefore, you know, you will not take me seriously ever.
No, that's not true.
How many people will you help? How about this? Like, how many people do I need to sell a copy of a book or a documentary to at full price before you will do something to, like, make sure I can